this live vlog announcing that Maxx Crosby has been traded, and YouTube just it's wasn't letting me make a video. It was crazy. It just was spinning and buffering and everything, and it looks like it may be doing the same thing again, which I think is not right. So on my channel, I've gone live, and then if I, yeah, now you can see it. This time it's working. I'm glad I started it all over again because the first time it just froze. Yeah. Um, and so this time, this is different, okay? Maxx Crosby was traded to the Baltimore Ravens for 2 first-round picks. And I have to admit that I really didn't like that Raiders general manager John Spytek seemed to want to push Max out of the door. And I am certain that they looked at Max really as, frankly, I've looked at him over the past 3 years, which is a player who has seen his better days.
Not really.
And my mom says not really, but there are a number of plays where he really tries hard, okay? Without question. But Max, when I think of a powerful defensive end, I don't think of him. I think of the J.J. Watt or Myles Garrett. When I think of Max, I think of somebody who simply just won't stop going after you, who just doesn't know the word quit. And that, in and of itself, is extremely valuable. No question about it. But it happens at a time when the fastest group of defensive line players in the history of the NFL are now coming from college to the National Football League. I call them scheme breakers, people who are so fast that the common play designs won't work against them. There will have to be new approaches created to cope with how fast these gentlemen are. Max is from another time. And so I think the Ravens are making a gamble. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that. I made a similar comment when the Green Bay Packers picked up the former Cowboys defensive end, who really, to me, shouldn't be a defensive end or an edge rusher, and we're set. They were set to pay him a lot of money, $188 million. The Cowboys were set to pay Michael Parsons, and I said then, right when it was announced what he wanted, he wasn't worth that level of money. A lot of people got upset with me, and I said, look, I'm not anti Michael Parsons, but Michael Parsons to me is an inside linebacker / weak side linebacker, not a defensive end. And people would trot out these statistics saying, well, he's effective at getting close to the quarterback. I said, getting close to the quarterback is one thing, but I want sacks. And I want effective, measurable sacks. The late Reggie White was a sack machine. The late Harvey Martin with the Dallas Cowboys, sack machine. Randy White, Cowboys defensive tackle, sack machine. People who, when you think about production, you think about the fact that they were able to wreak havoc, like Deacon Jones, wreak havoc on a team, which is how he described the impact of a sack on an organization. He said it was like debilitating a city. It was his description of it was hyperbole, but if you consider the reaction of a crowd when the sack comes at the right time, he was right on. All right, people will go nuts when the quarterback is hit at the right time. They just will, and so he got it. But Maxx Crosby is not the guy that I think of when I say, hey, when was the last Raider to produce 5 sacks in one game? That wasn't Max. That was Khalil Mack. Remember that? Khalil Mack. The Raiders got rid of him too. So I object to the Raiders getting rid of players that have a high motor this way because their coaches aren't bright enough to figure out what to do with them. Let's just lay it out for what it is, okay? And now, but on the other hand, here's the other hand. It is a big other hand. Wow. They're offering, the waivers offered not 1, but 2 first-round picks. 2 first-round picks. 2 first-round picks. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. So basically, the Raiders will go into the NFL draft with 3 first-round picks. All right, 3. And we know they have the first pick. That's Fernando. But we don't know. But let's see here. If we have to say what the other picks are, let's take a look right now at the Ravens first round picks. Ravens 2026 NFL draft picks, okay? And this is big news. And so and I'm trying to make a little money from this thing, right? So all right, so here's down here I'm looking at, say, Maxx Crosby reportedly traded. There's a draft tracker here, and I'm trying to make this brighter here. Whoops, excuse me. Sorry about that, folks. Wrong button. All right. Okay. Sports Illustrated had a list of the 2026 NFL draft picks. And they have current and projected draft capital, team needs. They broke down the team needs for defensive tackle. They have top prospects to target, but they don't have the listing for where their picks are going to fall. So that's what I'm trying to get here with the what picks they get. Okay, they will get number 14th overall pick. All right, they will receive 2 first-round picks from the Ravens, including the number 14 overall. All right, I don't know what the second one will be, which is strange. I thought either that or this article is just not poorly written. If you report that they're going to have 2 first-round picks, then you should report which 2 they are, right? That's what should go on here. And so Maxx Crosby trending, and Maxx Crosby likely have a new home soon. And they're talking about how long it went wrong with the Raiders. And those are 5 hours ago. Now, immediate reaction from Vinny Bonsignore. Now, Raiders hold the number 1 and 14 pick in the upcoming draft. But there's another pick, and that's what I'm trying to find out. They will 1, 14, but then what's the third one? If they get 2, okay? What is the 2? Is that all right? Yeah. So in terms of ranking regarding first-round picks, there's Jamarcus Russell, number 1, Colton Miller, Derek Carr, number 36. No, this is another question. Derek Carr is not a first-round pick. I don't know what they're talking about here. And let's see here. Yeah, we've had this is not the first time we've had two firsts. We did in the draft that brought Henry Ruggs to the Raiders. So it's not the first time. I'm looking at Twitter here at these reactions. I think the Raiders really came out the better of this than the Ravens. Unless Max discovers a level of energy that he had 5 years ago, which I think is not so likely. The question is what will the Raiders do in terms of taking a person that will replace him? And I believe that they may be eyeing Sonny Styles, the outstanding outside linebacker from Ohio State. Or it could be the tight end from Oregon who's just an incredibly fast human being like no one's ever seen before. They have their pick of really outstanding athletes who will become super effective players to go after. They really do. The Raiders do. This is something else. It really is something else. So, as Flock puts it, Maxx Crosby is exactly the energy at a position of need that the Ravens have been missing since T-Sizzle. T-Sizzle really brought it. But see, to me, Maxx Crosby doesn't have the athletic prowess that T-Sizzle has, okay? He can be ran over. He can be blocked. So that's the difference. Now, if you're not paying attention, he can run right by you with a special move and create a down running back in the backfield. All right, that's what Maxx Crosby can do. That's what he can do. So I am shook in a good way, but I'm also shook in a bad way because to me, Maxx Crosby was Mr. Raider. He was the last connection to Oakland, to the great teams of Oakland, to the just win baby philosophy. But you got to love the Raiders being aggressive in doing this deal with the Ravens. They pulled the trigger, okay? They pulled the trigger. But, and I agree with this tweet I just saw, Maxx Crosby isn't going to fix anything when Lamar goes down for at least 4 games. And does he play in the secondary? Because that's a mess too. Ravens have talent and ability to win it all, this person writes. But I don't see this solving all their issues. He's a boss, though. Wish he was in orange. I believe they're referring to the Broncos. Yeah, orange crush. And so, wow. He is going to be a star in Baltimore, no question about it. But will he be the difference maker in Baltimore? That's the biggest question mark of all. The Ravens are willing to bet 2 first-round picks. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, the Raiders are in a position to really remake their organization. This is like ripping up the foundation and starting all over again. That's what this is, folks. It's ripping up the foundation and starting all over again, all right? What are your thoughts on this? I'm going to do another video on this later. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark NFL News by Zenny62.com. I'll see you.